The Ninja Turtles are back in yet another reboot. This one, though, might be worth your time, whatever your age. Let's talk about Mutant Mayhem. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. This is in theaters right now and boasts some big names behind it. So we'll get into all of that in just a second here. First, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We've got a ton of great movie and TV reviews on the channel here for you to peruse, and please consider subscribing down below. Would love to have you aboard in that capacity, or like this video, comment below. All that stuff does help the channel out. All right, so yes, we've gotten so many Ninja Turtles movies and shows over the years. The most recent film adaptations were under the tutelage of Michael Bay. I don't think he directed either one, but he produced them and certainly had his fingerprints all over them. Here, this takes a more comedic lean. This is an animated version as well. A lot of the movies that we've seen before have been more of the live action variety, but this one, like most of the shows that they've done, if not all of them, is animated, and it's got a pretty unique animation style as well. Seth Rogen and his writing partner Evan Goldberg sort of spearheaded this one. They have co-writing credits with a couple other dudes, Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit. Seth Rogen also has a voiceover here. A lot of people in the adult portion of the cast are very, very familiar names, if not voices. A couple of these people I actually could not pick out necessarily, but a lot of the famous names involved here include Seth Rogen and John Cena do Bebop and Rocksteady. You've got Rose Byrne, Jackie Chan voices Splinter, and I just reviewed a Jackie Chan John Cena movie on Netflix that was like horrible, called Hidden Strike. So it was nice to see them in something together that's, you know, a little more worth our time. Who else? Maya Rudolph, Ice Cube is Superfly, sort of the main antagonist of the film. Paul Rudd, Post Malone, like Hannibal Buress. There's a lot of people here voicing some of the adults and some of the other characters. But in terms of the Turtles themselves, in this iteration, they are young teenagers. In some of the more recent versions, I feel like the Michael Bay ones, they were more like 16 maybe. But here, they're all like middle schoolers, I would say. And Brady Noon voices Raphael. That's the only name I recognize. He was in the movie Good Boys. And he was in a TV show. The Mighty Ducks. He was in that Disney Plus Mighty Duck show. Nicholas Contou plays Leonardo. Shamon Brown Jr. Is Michelangelo. Micah Abbey is Donatello. I don't really recognize any of those names. One of the kids is from The Chi. Or The Shy, whatever, that show on Showtime that's very popular. I've not watched it. And also Ayo Edebiri plays April O'Neil. Don't know her either. So a lot of newcomers sort of in that universe. But the adults, you know, you will certainly know their voices, or if not, you know, the people behind them. Like Maya Rudolph, I didn't recognize, which is weird. She's done a lot of voice work, so you'd think I would have, but I didn't really pick up on her. Didn't pick up on Rose Byrne. I didn't actually pick up on Paul Rudd either. Seth Rogen, Ice Cube, you know, there's some obvious ones in there. But anyway, so the basic plot here is that these turtles, well, you know, sort of their background. So they go over that a little bit in the first scene or two. But they've been sheltered from the human world for years and years, and so now they want to be accepted as normal kids through acts of heroism, a la a Spider-Man or something. And so they go on the hunt for a mysterious crime syndicate along with their new reporter friend, April O'Neil. And that's, you know, look, you can't get really much more basic than that. You know, that is the Turtles in a nutshell. No pun intended there with the shell thing. The animation style here is very interesting. Certainly, I think, taking a little bit of inspiration from the most recent Spider-Man Spider-Verse series. Because the animation is not very straightforward. It's you know, I don't know what you call it, really. I'm not as versed, you know, in the art stuff, but, you know, it's got like the squiggles to it, and it's not as, you know, as clean as, say, you know, like a Pixar movie or something like that. But I think, you know, we are sort of ushering in this new era of animation style where, we've sort of perfected the CGI. I think people sometimes are still a little weird looking with CGI, but we've kind of, I think, reached the height of what CGI can do in sort of a normal setting, where you see maybe, nature or something, and we see, little ripples in the water or hair, follicles moving. I think we've perfected sort of the minutia of that CGI sort of style over the last, 25 years that it's been, I guess, since Toy Story, almost 30 now. But so it's interesting that we're sort of looking at a lot of other different ways of showing us these animation styles and what you can do with CGI. So here, a definitely interesting animation to look at. Although I will say one of the negatives I have about this movie is it does hamper the fight scenes a little bit, because the way it's shot in sort of squiggly lines and not as fluid with the animation, it does get a little bit muddled when there is an intense action sequence. So I will say that possibly is a negative about the look of it. But other than that, it really looks very unique, looks cool for sure. And the reason, that I kind of set up top, this might be a Ninja Turtles that is good for all ages. I think adults will get a lot out of this too. Now, I sort of missed the Turtles boat when I was growing up. I feel like I was in high school already when they kind of came out, and the movie was when I was maybe 14 or something. So it's like, at the time I was sort of like, I don't know if I really care about this. And then, of course, over the years, we've had so many different iterations, that I've taken my nephews to, the Michael Bay ones, at least the older one now. But this time I was able to take both of them. But it's, it's not something that I'm like, oh, I'm such a huge Turtles fan. But I really enjoyed the first movie when I watched it, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. The original one, like with Sam Rockwell, and what was that, from 1991 or something, right? And I've actually watched that twice now, and it's enjoyable. I really like it. I'm not a super fan of this, not genre, but of this franchise. But there's a lot of things I like about it, and one of them is the exploration of the Turtles as people. And that's sort of, this movie really explores that, probably most, or more than any of the ones that I've seen before. And I think that was an interesting angle. And in that regard, it does work like a Pixar or some of the better DreamWorks movies, where it's really got this kind of nice emotional center, and there's interesting character development. I will say, I'm not sure, I'm not well versed enough in the turtle lore, the Ninja Turtle lore, to really identify, okay, this character has these traits and this character has, and I'm not sure this movie did anything to necessarily separate all of that for me. They all seem kind of similar. One is like the horn dog of the group, that always seems to want April O'Neil. So that is present here. But other than that, well, and there's like little, things that they'll say, oh, like you're, good at coming up with plans and stuff. But, they all look so similar except for their different color, eye masks or whatever. I get a little lost in the sauce with that, whereas I'm sure, if you're a big fan of the franchise, exactly, who brings what to the table, whatever. So, all right. Maybe we could have gotten a little more specific in that, but I think a lot of people that watch this will know sort of the character traits. And in that regard, I would say, and, this is just a guess, but I would say that this is the first Ninja Turtles movie ever, where the creators grew up watching the Turtles. Like Seth Rogen was probably 12 when the Ninja Turtles came out or something like that. So I imagine he has a big, history with this franchise. And I can't imagine any of the other ones we've seen. Like Michael Bay, he's older than I am. I'm sure he didn't grow up watching the Ninja Turtles, right? They didn't exist yet. So with that, this is very, very lovingly crafted, I think. I will say there may be a few too many like current references and speech and stuff, like, they say the word sus at one. Oh, that's really sus. In 5 years, are kids going to still be saying sus? I don't know. So I'm not sure it's going to be great for a watch in 20 years. Unclear, but I think this is a really, really good animated movie. Some good stuff here. I leave Mutant Mayhem, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with a B+. All right, you can see that in cinemas right now. Thanks for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time. Bye.